good morning, and welcome to Main Street TV on this Monday. And by the way, did you know that today is National Football Hangover Day? Did you watch the game?
I did.
Yeah.
Did you watch the game
Yeah.
all the way?
No.
No.
Okay. Did it come out the way you wanted?
Yes.
Really? No? Yes, no. Okay. We'll talk a little bit about that later, but we're not here to talk about National Football Hangover Day. We're in the midst of National Kindness Week. And today we're going to have Tyler Wiggins, also Kinsley Royster and McKenna Orton. They're here to talk about kindness. We'll do that right after this.
Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Pelletier Foods is looking for you. That's right, Pelletier Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Pelletier Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at PelletierFoods.com/careers.
Well, it was Super Bowl Sunday yesterday, but it was also the start of National Kindness Week, and we have some very special guests who are going to talk about kindness. Glad to have you with us.
Glad to be here.
All right. So where do you want to start? National Random Acts of Kindness is all this week.
Yes.
Next Monday will be the National Random Acts of Kindness Day. So we can extend it one more day. So what do you have planned for this week, Tyler?
So at the school, we have kindness service projects. We have a coffee bar for teachers with kindness quotes on their coffee cups. We also, if the weather permits, we do sidewalk chalk outside. We have kindness challenges for the students daily this week to see if we can try to promote kindness in the school, and we'll see how that goes.
Kinsley, you going to be a part of that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. I don't know if you know this or not, but of course it was Mark Twain who said kindness is the language that the deaf can hear and the blind can see, and people's lives can be changed by just one act of kindness. And it could start with a smile, right?
Yeah.
Just like that. Anything, Dad? What's going to be happening besides all of those projects?
I don't know if Tyler said, but we do have kindness challenges every day for students, and we are also sending cards to business to hand out to people that come in with kindness challenges for them to do.
Okay. Because every day, if you look at the calendar now, there is a calendar for the National Kindness Week. Did you know that? And of course, the week is scratched out because you're supposed to do all kinds of acts of kindness. But if you print out their calendar, there's something you can do each and every day. And part of it is, just like you said, you can hand somebody a card, make them smile. That's probably, I think a lot of people don't realize that smiling at someone can actually transform their day.
Yeah.
So you got anything special planned for this week, McKenna?
We have a bunch of different dress up days that we're doing around our school. We have for Monday, which is today, we have Cozy Up with Kindness, which is we're gonna dress up with we're gonna dress up and be comfy, comfy clothes. And then tomorrow is Jersey Day, where we're gonna team up for kindness and wear our football jerseys or basketball or any sport.
Right.
And then Wednesday is crazy for kindness. We're gonna wear wacky clothes. And then Thursday is tie-dye day. We're gonna tie kindness together. So, and we're just gonna wear tie-dye. But all the days have themes.
You got any days that would dress up like the old man, John Pelletier day?
No.
No.
That doesn't happen, huh?
No, that would be a good day, though.
That would be a good day. Yeah, make us old people feel good too.
We'll take it into
So
consideration.
it sounds like you have a lot of things planned. So anybody here know how this all got started?
So I believe about 3 years ago, we had our counselor at our school, and I'm assuming she came up with the idea that we needed a kindness club because she's normally the one that works with a little bit with some of the other staff, and they come up with some of our new clubs at the middle school. So she probably had the idea to come up with a kindness club, and that's when KIA started, Kindness in Action. And it started the year before we got there, 3 years ago. We've been there for 2 years.
So how long you been involved?
2 years.
2
We
years?
started our first year at the middle school.
All 2 years? So acts of kindness. Have you seen it work?
Actually, in last year, we did the increase of kindness in the school actually was awesome. It was amazing to see all the kids with smiles on their faces, walking through the hallways, just reading the kindness quotes that we had put up. It was definitely a special week.
Kindness can be contagious. Is that what you find? Okay. So what else happened? Anything that you saw during your experience the last 2 years of Kindness Week?
When we have First Fridays where we line up and where the students come in and tell them good morning, it looks like it makes their day better. It cheers them up. It wakes them up at least.
Oh, good. And yourself?
Like what Kinsley said, they act like they don't like it, but we all know that they do because of their smiles.
Yeah, they all walk in like, but
all walk
then
in like they
they
don't.
finally open up at the end of the like little parade that we do.
Okay.
So,
All right. You know, that some people actually feel that, you know, that maybe a smile or a kindness or whatever it is a sign of weakness, but it's contagious. I mean, like you said, you start the day and you smile and you don't get a smile back, but you know what they're thinking inside. Boy, that's kind of cool.
yeah.
And then after you continue, all of you push this, then everybody sort of melts in and
Yeah.
goes with the flow, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So in these 2 years, any special event or person, you don't have to name them by name, that sticks out in which the act of kindness, the random act of kindness, really affected?
I don't know. We do a whole school. We do. I don't know what you call it. It's like, so we're doing like a bingo-ish thing this year.
Okay.
But I mean, we just kind of try to incorporate games with it, and I think that's where we get most of the smiles and stuff, because people who doesn't like games, and when you involve kindness with it, it really is a lot of fun.
Okay. And it does transform.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So Random Acts of Kindness Week will be going on all this week. So we might as well tell everybody, get ready to put on your smiley face, right?
Yeah, all week, put it
Right.
on.
Actually, believe it or not, it didn't happen like they put in Forrest Gump, but the original remember the happy face? Have a good day, happy face? That happened in 1963. And I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he was contracted by an insurance company to develop something to raise the morale in their company. And he said it took him like 15 minutes to come up with this idea, and he just drew the smiley face. And the company said that changed the morale of the whole company. So there is something into that a smile can really turn things around, right?
Yeah, somebody can be having a bad day, and a smile can change their day into the greatest day of the year. So.
That's true. That's very true. So National Random Acts of Kindness, or Kindness Week, as many people call it. And so let's outline again what's going to be happening this week at your school.
So again, we have a coffee bar for our teachers, because it's important that not only that we see the kids smiling, that our teachers are respected, and that we get a smile on their faces too, because we're so glad to have them to educate the students. And we also have the students that we do dress up days. We do all the dress up days that revolve around Kindness Week, and that a lot of the students at our school like to dress up. So
Okay.
It's definitely a big hit.
And a happy teacher is important, isn't it? So do you serve coffee for them, or just have it available for them?
We have time slots that like people in KA, if you want to, you can go serve that to the teachers. and help with the coffee bar.
Okay. And then they can stop by anytime?
Mhm.
That
The
is-
teachers have a break. They stop by, and it'll be like a table with a bunch of coffee cups and coffee and creamer and all that set up. And then the Kindness in Action group, we have like a sheet where we sign up to work different times of the day that we can get out of class and serve the teachers their coffee.
Okay, wonderful. And do you get a smile out of the teachers?
Yes,
And-
most of them love coffee. So.
Okay.
And on the cups, they have a kindness quote and a thing on them that was designed by somebody in KIA, Kindness in Action.
Each cup has a little something to put a smile on their face. And did I hear you say earlier, McKenna, that you handed out quotes or some things to make the students smile? Is that right?
Yeah. We have like posters around the school to help people make like smile and stuff like that.
Uh-huh. So it's all going to start today.
Mhm.
All right. So when's coffee time? I might stop by.
So I believe the coffee bar is Friday. For the teachers, it's just there all day.
Okay.
And if we're not there, obviously they can serve themselves because
Yeah.
it's just something to make their day
All
better.
right. Okay.
Who doesn't want coffee on a Friday morning?
There you go. So we have random acts of kindness, and then, of course, things that are not so random but are just as important. They going around and smiling, and posters, just creating an atmosphere that hopefully will better their day, right?
Yep.
Very good. Did you come up with this idea?
So actually, it's like a group thing where we all brainstorm ideas. We brainstorm like months before in advance that Kindness Week comes because there's so many ideas that the 3 different grades come up with in Kindness in Action, and we kind of have to narrow that down. And our advisors, our librarian Brianna Exline and our counselor Abigail Duffy, they are this counselors. They are I want to say like teachers of the club, the
Mhm.
leaders, and they kind of narrow it down for us and make the final selections of what goes on this week.
Okay. So a lot of planning went into this week, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have Tyler Wiggins, Kinsley Royster, and McKenna Wharton, who are heading up the Kindness Week. And all of this is going to be happening Monday through Coffee Day, Friday.
Yep.
Right? All right. Okay. So once again, we want to thank you for spreading cheer, making days better. And don't forget to keep that smile on your face, all right?
Yeah.
All right. We appreciate it so much. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
All right. All right. Don't forget, smile. All right. And once again, we want to thank Tyler and Kinsley and McKenna for being here to talk about Kindness Week. And not only do we need to congratulate them and for what they're doing, but also we need to join in and make sure that we spread smiles too on this Kindness Week, National Random Acts of Kindness, and it makes everybody better.
Yep.
Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much. Hey, we're going to be back with more here on Main Street TV in just a minute.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Saturday, August 16th is Southern Rock Woodstock in the Gallipolis Fairgrounds. This event will feature 3 decades of original artists and legends, such as Leonard Skinner, 38 Special, and Molly Hatchet. In light of this event, Total Media will be giving away 4 VIP tickets. For a chance to win these exclusive passes, comment your favorite Southern rock song, and our staff will vote on which one is the best. Good luck, and may the best man rock out.
And welcome back to our Monday edition of Main Street TV. And I would like to remind you that about the Southern Rock Woodstock, and that's going to be happening. So, did we give away those tickets yet?
I don't think we have. No.
Have we not given? We got 4 VIP passes we're going to be giving away. All you have to do is go on our Main Street TV Facebook page and make a comment about your favorite rock song, and you could be a winner.
Well, do you have one?
A favorite rock song? I have several.
Well, here's the thing. I know you, John. I know you're a very musically inclined person. I know you love all things music. So I'm sure it can be really hard for you to choose. I mean, it's talking about, because with you, I've always associated you with, the Remembering the 60s concerts.
Yeah, I know.
Just you and all your performances. So
yeah, a lot of my favorites are in the 60s. Of course, I do have favorites from the 70s, too.
Well, I remember, because these morning kids, they were coming in, we got middle school kids just a second ago. They're talking about listening to Matt in the morning. Now, back when I was in middle school, it wasn't him, it was the guy next to me.
Okay.
And I remember on Fridays, because, see, I'm a lover of all kinds of music. I have a deep musical appreciation. And I remember what do you mean? I forget. I didn't forget. I just forgot.
I forgot.
Yeah. Man, I'm taking a trip down memory lane.
Oh, it was fun. Of course, I did that for a long, long time, and I really, really was privileged to enjoy every minute of it. So once again, oh, by the way, I got a card from our good friends. Make today so awesome. Yesterday gets jealous.
I got one, too. It says, do more of what makes you love.
All right.
Words of wisdom.
So special thanks again to Tyler Wiggins, Kinsley Royster, and McKenna Orton, who were with us earlier to talk about Kindness Week, which is all this week. Hey, before we get any farther, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about basketball, but and as I mentioned, today is National Football Hangover Day. Did you watch the game?
Well, of course I watched the Super Bowl.
All the way through?
I watched it all the way through, beginning to end, and even through the halftime show.
Okay.
And I watched the beginning. I have to admit, talking about these kids earlier and then myself, I bet on a winner last night. I picked the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm glad I did.
I bet you did.
Oh, yeah. And I will say, being a fan of the NFL, let's just say I was getting tired of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
You hear about them left and right. So I'm just happy that we could have the Philadelphia Eagles win it and not Kansas City.
So you picked the winner. Does that mean you're buying lunch today?
Dream on, John. Dream
Okay,
on.
I didn't. I figured out. Hey, I tried.
Hey, nice try, but
yeah, I know.
you failed miserably.
40-22, and I think actually there, going out of the third quarter into the fourth quarter, I think Philadelphia was more just on the defensive mode, trying to eat the clock than do anything else. But anyway, it was a three-peat. Did not happen.
Nope.
I think this is Super Bowl number 2 for the Phillies.
The second Super Bowl for the Eagles.
Yeah.
They won one in, I believe, 2016 against the Patriots.
Okay.
And that alone took them almost 60 years to accomplish.
Yes.
And they hadn't won a championship at that point since, I believe, 1963.
Okay.
Or 64. And the Eagles ended up winning the Super Bowl in 2016, and of course, again in 2025. And both times the quarterback was the MVP.
Okay.
Yeah, Nick Foles, and now we had Jalen Hurts.
And there was, let me see here, trying to look at some of these stats real quick. 221 passing yards for Hurts.
Right.
How about that? 72 yards on the ground. It was a nice Super Bowl and lots of music.
Oh, yeah.
I know the halftime show was your favorite. I know you talked about it coming in here that you really enjoyed that.
Oh, yeah.
Kendrick Lamar. But there was also some other music events in the Super Bowl that I really enjoyed. And I'm not particularly a Lady Gaga fan, but I thought she did a marvelous job down on Bourbon Street.
As did I, and just listening to time about Kendrick Lamar. My favorite part of that whole thing was Samuel L. Jackson showing up dressed up like Uncle Sam.
Yeah,
like full Uncle Sam attire. It was actually neat.
So John Batiste, Post Malone, I don't know, Snoop Dogg. There were all kinds of people there, including Ludacris, and a lot of them singing. And I thought Fox did a great job with the Super Bowl all afternoon.
And I
long.
enjoyed John Baptiste playing of the national anthem. I like that kind of music, his style. So it was probably one of my favorite national anthem performances in quite a while.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you liked it.
Oh, I loved
it. And speaking of sports, I know our good friend here is to talk about, Hayden, we're going to talk about high school basketball?
Yes, sir. Tournament draws were on Sunday, which
Yeah.
means the OHSAA tournament has been drawn, and it's going to start here in the next week or so.
Okay.
The girls have already been drawn. They were drawn a week ago.
Right.
And those start this week. The girls, like, for example, we got Jackson traveling to Warren. That's a bit of a trip. And then, of course, we got Wellston taking on a couple. We got Vinton County in action, Oak Hill. But we're going to talk about the boys here today.
Okay.
Starting, of course, with Division III, we got Miami Trace and Warren. They're the top seeds. And talking about Miami Trace, they're undefeated. They're 18-0. And Warren is just behind them at 17-2.
Whoa.
Miami Trace, I will say, any team's going to have a hard time taking them on.
Okay.
Because Miami Trace has a very talented team this year, both offensively and defensively. They are outright Frontier Athletic Conference champions, and they have a pretty tough league if you know anything about it. Of course, the FAC is a relatively new league compared to a lot of the other leagues,
Right.
but if you know anything about the FAC, when you got the likes of Jackson, Chillicothe, which has good years, and some other schools that you have to take on there. And speaking of the Cavaliers of Chillicothe, they are going to take on Sheridan, and the winner of that game will play Miami Trace, who has a bye.
Okay.
And from there, in Division III, the winners of these games will go to Logan High School, and then they'll take on the winner of the East District at the Convocation Center at Ohio University. And, of course, the reason why we have the Southeast District playing the East District to determine district champions rather than just Southeast District having their own is because in this district, there's only 6 teams. And in the East District, there are only 5.
Okay.
So this is why we have to determine it this way rather than just one district champion for each. Now, shifting gears to Division IV, and locally, the Vinton County Vikings are taking on the Hillsboro Indians. And I will say, if the same Vinton County Vikings come out that we saw against New Hope Christian Academy about a week ago at Ohio Christian University, I think the Vinton County Vikings can move on to the next round. They look like a very well-disciplined team, offensively, defensively. Great shooting stats there. Cobra Sharp put up well over 20 points for the Vikings. So I think Vinton County stands a good chance. Hillsboro is very evenly matched with them in seeding and in record. I think it's a game that in Division IV people need to be looking out for. The winner of that one, however, has a very tough obstacle ahead of them because they'll go to Southeastern High School in Londonderry to take on the Meigs Marauders. And Meigs only has one loss. We were talking about Warren a moment ago. That's who they lost to, were the Warren Warriors. So Meigs has to take on the winner of Vinton County and Hillsboro. Meigs, another conference champion in the TVC Ohio. Of course, Vinton County in that conference. Meigs has beaten Vinton County twice. So if Vinton County makes it there, they have an uphill battle to climb to take on the Meigs Marauders. Now, of course, from there, New Lexington and Westfall, Guy Academy and Circleville. Now, the Jackson Ironmen, they have a guaranteed bye. They're going to be at Southeastern. That's a guarantee. They got a first-round bye. And they're going to take on the winner of 2 teams that they have defeated. One team they've defeated twice here, and one they defeated just this past weekend on Saturday. Of course, between the Waverly Tigers and the Washington Courthouse Blue Lions. The Blue Lions, of course, they're in the middle part of the Frontier Athletic Conference, but against Jackson, they had a very close contest at home. Jackson won by, I believe, only 2 or 3 points. And it was down to the wire, and a big shot by Stephen Jenkins inside the paint gave Jackson a 2-point lead near the end of the contest. And from there, it was curtains for the Blue Lions. And Waverly, they've got a relatively young team. They've also got 2 twins that are pretty big in size. The Myers twins for Waverly. One is 6'5", and one is 6'4". Both of them are normally starters. And how would you like to go against 2 twins that are that big? I mean, of course, in basketball, the bigger the better when it comes to height. And, of course, and you see this all the time. And Waverly, again, really young team, a lot of development for them to do, a lot of growing to do. So I don't think this is necessarily going to be a reflection of what's to come for the Tigers. And then, of course, Uniota and Logan Elm, you talk about a team that, of course, they got the 3 seeds, so they just barely missed, the bye to Southeastern. But I will say that this team can hang with the best of them. I broadcast in Piketon and Uniota, And that team, of course, we hung in with them for the first half. We were only down by 2 at the end of 1. We had the lead for a good bit of that quarter. And then the second quarter, we exchanged the lead a couple times. But after that, in the second half, they're very fast-paced offense. And, of course, our well-coached team, Matt Combs, I don't know if that name rings a bell to you, former Vinton County Vikings coach.
Sure.
And a 1,000-point scorer for the Uniota Shermans. He returned to Uniota to be the coach and athletic director. And, of course, Fairfield Union taking on Greenfield McLean. Going to try to pick up the pace here. Division 5. Now, one thing from a broadcaster's point of view, as you'll know very well, tournament especially, you take some really long road trips. And the Wellston Golden Rockets, they're going to have to do just that. Poor Matt Peterson and Nathan Mollahan. They had to travel all the way down to Adams County to play the West Union Dragons.
Okay.
And that's going to be a play-in. And the winner of that one takes on the mighty Medford Falcons, who is number 1 seed in Division 5. And they're as good as advertised. We were worried that we would have to take on Medford. We as in the Red Streaks of Piketon. And another play-in game, of course, the Red Streaks take on the River Valley Raiders. South Point and Portsmouth, Ironton and Colegrove, Zane Trace, Nelsonville, York, Local Aid. The Oak Hill Oaks, led by Coach Heath McInnes, are going to be taking on the Wheelersburg Pirates. The Oaks coming into this with a record of 11-9, and they're in the upper tier of their portion of the SOC. Just above them, of course, is the dominant Eastern Beaver Eagles. And Eastern Beaver actually beat Wheelersburg this year for the first time in maybe ever. People are not really sure if it's ever happened at Wheelersburg.
Right.
Of course, Wheelersburg, as long as I think either of us can remember, have been a dominant athletic force.
Very much so.
And for Eastern to pick up a win there, that's one thing that we were looking at. We don't know if it's ever been done before. Chesapeake and Alexander and Eastern Brown and Sardinia against Northwest and McDermott. Getting near the end here, I promise, John.
You're good.
We got the Athens Bulldogs, the Adena Warriors and Ripley. They're taking on Eastern Beaver. Adena, they're having a rough year this year out in Frankfort, and they're going to take on the Eastern Eagles, who only have 2 losses to their name, possibly, or Ripley. They're also in the lower portion. So it's going to be a rough obstacle for anyone who has to take on Eastern. And the neutral site for Division 6 here is Jackson High School, locally.
Okay.
So here in Jackson, they'll be hosting these games. Of course, then from there, Eastern Meigs and Waterford, Valley and Paint Valley, Portsmouth West and Lynchburg Clay. How about that? A lot of valleys in there. Valley and Paint Valley. Then, of course, Federal Hocking and Portsmouth Clay taking on North Adams, Belpre and Rock Hill, Sims Valley and the Huntington Huntsmen, and the Southeastern Panthers and the People's Indians. So a little bit of a look at Division 7, and we get to the last division here. This is Division 7, and they will play not at the downtown gym of Waverly. Division 5 will play in the Waverly Downtown Gymnasium. Division 7 will play up on the hill in Waverly at Waverly High School. So we got the Ironton St. Joseph taking on White Oak, Fairfield and Trimble, Western Latham out here in Pike County taking on Glenwood, Green and Miller, Southern and Sideville East, and Manchester and South Gaia. The buys on that one, Notre Dame, and the number 1 seed, another name you might be familiar with, Norm Pearson, the South Webster Jeeps.
Right.
State champion with the Oak Hill Oaks. Back in what was that, John? 2009?
I know. He keeps saying he's going to retire, but
he says he's going to retire, but here he still is, and I think he's trying to reach that milestone with wins.
True. Right.
But I don't blame him. I mean, here's the thing, and you'll know this very well, John. Retirement is not for everybody. And I don't know if I could retire. I mean, I've got many, many decades until I got to worry about that at this point. But I don't know if I could ever comfortably retire.
Well, retirement is not for everybody, as you said. I tried it. Lasted about 6 days.
And then you realize, I got to get out of the house.
I can only do 1 cup of coffee. I'm sorry. And then I've got to do something.
Well,
but,
you're a jack of all trades, John. I mean, you got your hands in a lot of different things.
Well, yeah. And speaking of that, and we'll talk about that later, is that we're getting into the alumni banquet season now.
Right.
So we'll talk about that at some other time. And of course, as you said, that drawings were last night, so we know where everybody is now headed. The girls, basketball, they're going to start playing what, this week?
They start this week around Thursday. Thursday is the average day. Of course, it varies for division. I believe some start on Wednesday, some start on Thursday, and then from there it goes into next week. Same neutral sites for the most part. Waverly, I believe Jackson has some. Wellston High School has a few neutral site Division 7 girls games.
Okay.
And then, so we got all those. And of course, like I said, Piketon's got Westfall. But again, talking about traveling. Former SEOAL opponent, though, for the Iron Ladies, taking on the Warren Lady Warriors. Dan Morrow, Pete Wilson. I was talking to Dan about this when he said he's used to making that trip, especially for football.
Right.
Of course, they used to take on Warren on a yearly basis. And now we don't see many of these teams anymore. Like, I miss a lot of the teams that the Ironmen used to play that we don't anymore. I'll tell you the one I miss the most, and I think anyone out there will agree to me on this. I miss the Wellston-Jackson rivalry. I do. I miss going out to C.H. Jones Field or to Alumni Stadium.
Sure.
The times we had, I remember I was in second grade when Wellston beat Jackson, and it was 2010, and I have never seen a celebration quite like the one I saw that night in Wellston.
It was something else.
It really was, and I'll never forget it for as long as I live.
Right.
And then, of course, the last game, I was there working that one, and that was when the Wellston and Jackson bands came together and performed the national anthem in a showing of unity to end the 100-plus year-long rivalry that those two teams had.
Well, I can tell you that you mentioned Warren. I was doing, sports play-by-play when Wellston left the Southeastern and went to the Tri-Valley.
Showing your age here a bit.
I know. And then the bad part about that was, for broadcasters, was the fact that a lot of the Tri-Valley teams had never hosted a broadcast.
Right.
I can remember going to the Warren game for the first time, football game, and they told us the visitors' press box is across the field. We went across the field and opened it up, and it was full of desks. So we had to actually, myself, Bob Willis, and I think it was Elba Heilman who was with us, we took all the desks out and laid them out somewhere, just enough so we could get in. We got settled in, ready to broadcast, and all of a sudden we realized that we were there with a hornet's nest.
Oh, good Lord.
About this big.
Now, I'll tell you why this makes me feel uncomfortable. I have a severe allergy to bees, but not only do I have a bee allergy, I don't know how this happens, so do not ask, but I have an allergy to the EpiPen as well.
Okay.
So that definitely makes me feel uneasy already.
Yeah, that would have been, it was tough. And then, of course, I can remember when we would do I hated to do Waverly games, football games, because they had no room in the press box.
Was this at the old football field?
Old football field. They had no room in the press box for the visiting broadcasters.
Right.
So we would sit, Bob Willis and myself, we had to sit on the front row of the visitors' bleachers and do the game.
Right.
True story. This is when Jody Michaels was the head coach.
So what was it, 70s? 80s?
Long time ago, yes. And all of a sudden, Jody becomes Jody. And right in front of us, and the flags fly because he's jawing, with the official, and the official throws the flag. All of a sudden, I get this thump on my back, thump, thump, thump. And there was a lady behind me and said, "What was that all about? What's that all about?" And I tried to ignore it, and then pretty soon it came again. "What was all that about?" And I turned around. I said, "Madam," they threw the flag on our coach for illegal use of the English language." Bob Willis almost fell out of his chair. True story. Anyway, but that was tough going from Southeastern to Tri-Valley because a lot of the schools were not equipped to handle teams. That's all changed now, though.
I will say I've been blessed for the most part when it comes to school venues and just the media-friendly environment there. I've not really had a school that I can say that I had a struggle broadcasting in. The only issue that you really encounter these days is with our equipment. Sometimes, of course, it requires the internet, it requires Wi-Fi, and sometimes the school's security measures are in place that essentially block the use of some of your equipment.
Right.
And that's an issue I've encountered at a few different high schools. But other than that, of course, one, I'll tell you, I definitely got a hike when I went to Adena High School for a basketball game. Well, you go over there and they're like, "You're the guy for the radio, right?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." So they show me this door. I go in it, and it's a supply closet. But the supply closet has a staircase that leads to another area. And I get up this really long staircase, and then I look up, and I have a massive equipment bag. Like you were talking, like full-blown suitcase here. And then I look up, and there's a massive ladder. Very narrow steps up to this rat's nest in which Adina has for the media. I get up there, and don't ask me how I got myself and the bag up there, but somehow I did it. And that right there, I am awfully proud of.
Yeah. Brings back memories because I remember we used to have to climb a ladder into the Vinton County Visitors Press Box. Jackson, if you remember, when the football field was at the old high school, the press box, of course, for visitors, we were on top of the press box. And I remember doing a ball game, and it was so cold that the VU meters on my equipment froze.
Ugh.
It was still working, but I couldn't tell anything. So anyway, yeah, all those old stories.
Right.
About
I've worked PA in the old football field, and I got a question for you, John. How
Sure.
did you ever get up that staircase?
it was a struggle.
Yeah, that narrow staircase
yeah.
up to the press box.
And I can remember at Wellston High School, I don't know if you remember this, but all the speakers, they had speakers, but they were on the other side of the field, pointed back at the press box. So that when you would do the announcing, about 2 seconds later, your voice would come back at you. So you had to learn to ignore the echo.
That would throw me for a loop.
It does. It throws you for a loop.
I've had a couple instances, both radio and PA with speakers, where my voice just basically flies right back at me.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes either I start tripping or I do get used to it after a while. But it is one of those things that it does throw you for a loop.
Right. Oh, anyway, our old war stories.
Oh,
one more. At the Wellston High School press box, they had one of the old microphones for the announcer that you had a button that you pressed down and you made the announcement about what's going on. But you had to be careful because on the right-hand side was a smaller button, and if you happened to hit it, that locked it in place, so the microphone was hot. So you had to learn that if you're going to comment on an official call, not to hit that lock button. And I learned that the hard way.
No.
So anyway.
For the whole world to hear.
Oh, yeah. The whole stadium heard. And the officials, he heard too. And he looked up at me.
Did he use inappropriate hand gestures?
No, he did not. And my language wasn't inappropriate, but it certainly was judgmental. So anyway, we appreciate it, Hayden, that all the info on the basketball tournaments coming up.
And I'm excited. I can't wait to get to broadcasting high school basketball tournament. Basketball season's my favorite time of the year. I hate to see it go, but during the tournament time, you see some really exciting contests, especially when we get to the OU Convocation Center. As you know, always some big tournament games there. Definitely looking forward to hopefully being able to call some of those, attend some of those. Believe it or not, I'm so into basketball that even when I'm not broadcasting, some people are like, are you just going to take a night off? No. And I still come to the games and sit in the bleachers, which when you're used to sitting in a press booth is definitely a culture shock going back to the bleachers.
Well, we can tell you love basketball.
Oh, yeah.
And we appreciate all your efforts. Hayden Milliken, basketball entrepreneur.
Thank you, John.
And of course,
you're too kind.
I listen to you, and he does a great job. Take it from the old guy. He's doing a good job.
Appreciate you, John.
All right. Hey, by the way, we're going to be back with more. As a matter of fact, we're going to take a look at the news as we continue here on our Monday edition of Main Street TV.
Saturday, August 16th is Southern Rock Woodstock in the Galpless Fairgrounds. This event will feature 3 decades of original artists and legends, such as Leonard Skinner, 38 Special, and Molly Hatchet. In light of this event, Total Media will be giving away 4 VIP tickets. For a chance to win these exclusive passes, comment your favorite Southern Rock song, and our staff will vote on which one is the best. Good luck, and may the best man rock out.
Love is in the air, and Main Street TV wants to treat you and your Valentine to something special. Enter our Table for Two Valentine's Day contest for a chance to win big. Here's how to join. Go to our Facebook page, like and share our post, and comment with a picture of you and your Valentine. The photo with the most likes will win an amazing prize pack, including VIP passes to Southern Rock Woodstock. Plus, you'll join us live on our February 14th cooking show. Hurry, the deadline to enter is February 10th at 4 p.m. Main Street TV, your community, your story.
Welcome back to Main Street TV, our Monday edition. Do want to remind you about Nia Henry and, of course, Appalachia Realty, probably the hardest working individual. Well, I think she's probably two. Pete's the hardest working person I know.
I'm not sure anybody can beat out Nia. I tell you what.
I was sitting and happened to sit beside her at on last Sunday at a dinner, and she kept telling about she could only stay so long because she had appointments. So
my guess is a fork in one hand and a cell phone in the other.
That's true.
Would be my guess.
And of course, don't forget Nia Henry. And that cell phone, you can get in touch with her, 740-418-4135. And she will work hard for you. Don't forget that. Well, welcome. It's a Monday. As I mentioned, this is football hangover day today. And I've been asking everybody, so did you watch the game?
I did. And this was the one game of the year that my wife will watch. She's not a sports person, but she did. We had our own Super Bowl spread at home. And enjoyed the game, such as it was.
Yeah, and as my wife is the same, Connie does not watch football, but she does watch the Super Bowl.
Right. Well, you'll have all those incidentals going on with the Super Bowl.
I know, but
the music, the glitz, the glamour, the shots of Taylor Swift and the president and other celebrities.
True, and she watched the game too, and I was very surprised. She's really starting to understand the game of football. And that wasn't so a few years ago. She just didn't like football. But
right. And for all those people out there that don't like football, especially, the wives that get tired of the length of the football season, sometimes they get excited about this one because they know it's the last one.
That's true. And then they see the commercial for what is it,
Yes, okay, all right. March the 28th, it's a while.
Okay, it's coming back.
All right, 6-weeker preview.
It's not only National Kindness, Random Acts of Kindness Week this week. It's not only Football Hangover Day today. It's also National All the News That is Fit to Print Day today. So I thought maybe that would...
Okay, well, that plays right into what we're going to go over now. Well, I tell you what, we don't have a complete weather forecast today, so I'm going to lead off with, what's a lot on people's minds now that the Super Bowl is over, and that is some more snow coming. Well, we are now under southeastern Ohio, Jackson County and Vinton County, certainly in this category. We are under a winter storm watch now. Okay.
You can leave. Go.
I just report the news. I don't make the news. I'm just reporting the news.
Okay.
The good news is it shouldn't be as bad as that one we had earlier.
Okay. All right.
Where we led the nation with 12.8 inches. The National Weather Service says that this winter storm watch, and of course, the prediction was more than a week out, and it's changed a lot. At one point, I remember it was nearly double-digit inches. Now it's not so bad. They are saying anywhere, the ranges that I have seen, officially it's 1 to 3 inches through Jackson County. And I see where WSAZ, a lot of people watch WSAZ because of their veteran weather crew. They are saying that Jackson is in kind of like the 2 to 3 to 5 inch category. We're kind of on the edge. The southern counties actually will get, or the southern part of southeastern Ohio actually get hit a little harder than the northern. So, we can expect for sure, starting probably early in the morning after daylight, some snow to fall for most of the day and maybe, get anywhere from 2 to 5 inches.
Okay.
And then it should be over. But the winter storm watch actually goes into effect at 4 a.m. and it will end at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. But the snow itself, probably, from what I can see, early morning, anywhere from maybe 9 a.m. really into darkness probably.
Okay.
And temperatures on the edge of whether it's rain or snow, but it looks like we're going to get some snow. Probably will be a wet snow. So that's where we are. Okay, well, we'll turn away from the cold weather to sunny Florida. Won't that be nice? And I can do that just not to get away from the weather, but because we're making news in Florida.
Okay.
The Jackson High School competition cheerleaders, which are 30 young ladies, no, actually 29 young ladies and 1 young man, grades 9 through 12. They are basically the regular cheerleaders, but it's not exactly the same squad. But they're the competition cheerleaders. They go to these competitions all over the state, and they qualified to go to Florida once again. And they are in what is called the Super Bowl of cheerleading in the nation, the Universal Cheerleading Association National Finals. And last night, our local Jackson High School girls competed in what they call the semifinals. It's an honor just to get there, but if you do well enough in the semifinals, you go on to the finals today. We're going to show, if Jimmy says we can, a video, just to last about 1 minute. This is a video posted by the cheerleading advisor, or one of the coaches, Courtney Butcher. The other one is Tiffany Boggs. This is where the Jackson competition cheerleaders are waiting for an announcement on whether they made the finals. So, Jimmy, if you can roll that, let them tell the story.
Scores and rankings for the teams will be emailed following these announcements. The order has been determined by reversing.
In the background, you can hear them making the announcements.
And the order will be competing in the next round of competition. Good luck to all the teams, and let's find out who's advancing. In order of performance for the finals round, performing first, Amityville High School. Performing second, Warren Central High School of Kentucky. Performing third, Madison County High School. Performing fourth, Conrad Weiser High School. Performing fifth, Hancock High School. Performing sixth, Pass Christian High School. Performing seventh, Olive Branch High School. Performing eighth, Jackson.
I'm not sure how many teams were in that semifinals, John, but you had to do well enough to advance to the finals. There were 11 schools or 11 teams that qualified to do that. And these schools and squads are coming from all over the nation. You heard maybe some of the announcements of where they were from. So it's quite an honor just to get there, but they will be competing in the finals. I understand they start all over, but Jackson was ranked 4th out of those 11, so that's pretty good. So they'll start all over again with different judges, is what I'm told, and Jackson will, and they will be performing. Some of the teams are already performing. Jackson is scheduled to be the 8th of the 11th school at 11:30 a.m. this morning. Then later on, after the last school performs, we will know who are the national champions. I don't know how many they place. There's obviously one that finishes first, but we want to congratulate those girls already, and that young man, by the way, Carson Stifler, the young man who is on that squad. They qualified to go to Florida to this UCA national competition by winning a state-level competition in Delaware, Ohio. Since then, they have also won competitions in Upper Arlington and Marysville. The team, as I said, is coached by Courtney Butcher and Tiffany Boggs. And throw up a couple pictures there, Jimmy. This is the girls posing after one of their practice sessions. So they got all their ID tags on and so forth. And then when you go to the Disney World Resort, what do you have to do? You have to go to Disneyland.
There you go.
Or Florida's version of Disneyland called Disney World. You see the trademark castle behind.
Right.
So a little bit of leisure mixed in with the competition. So we want to congratulate our Jackson High School competition cheerleaders, and we want to wish them well at 11:30 a.m. We will, of course, be reporting that on our website, social media, and on the radio. We'll tell you how they did as soon as we know.
Very good.
All right.
Wonderful.
Well, do you have something to tell me? I know you always come with some news of your own.
Well, yeah, And I know that you probably think it's too early, but I do have some Valentine information for you.
Okay, well, it's coming up pretty soon.
I know.
All you men out there, it's
Yeah.
I believe it's Friday, isn't it?
Yes, it's Friday.
Okay, Valentine's Day is Friday. Valentine's Day is Friday. Valentine's Day is Friday. You heard it from me 3 times
Right.
now.
Now, keep in mind that Valentine's Day for a lot of people is a nice event, and sometimes Valentine's Day may not be a good event, whether you're in or out of a relationship, that type of thing. Well, the Memphis Zoo in Tennessee has come up with something that might help with that. They call it dating or dumping.
Okay, all right. That's good practical
That's
knowledge, right?
So for a $10 donation to the Memphis City Zoo, you can get a video.
Okay.
And you could send it to your Valentine. Now, if it's a Valentine that everything is going well, they'll send a video of a red panda munching around on some grapes with hearts and all of that. And if it's not going so well in your relationship, they will send you a video, a rather stinky video, of an elephant making a pile.
Oh, my. Okay. All right. The visual imagery there.
For your
Love it.
aches, it could either be a special or a stinking surprise, depending on, which one you want. And of course, all these videos are, and they said it's not necessarily for, and it could also be for the dumping video could be for an annoying neighbor or possibly an ex or a coworker that gives you nightmares, whatever. Anyway, so if you need that, go to the Memphis Zoo.
The Memphis Zoo.
Pick out your
okay.
favorite.
Okay, well, I tell you what that does.
$10.
That's affordable for most people, and
Yeah.
that makes you think about the Memphis Zoo. So that's not bad marketing on
That's
their
not
part.
bad at all.
Try to cash in on all the Valentine's Day.
Yeah. And
all the Valentine's Day
And I was
interest.
also trying to, survey some of the numbers that are
Mm-hmm.
involved with Valentine's Day. And normally we would quote out the numbers of flowers, and all of that. But I thought I would go with this survey. They say the 5 love languages of Valentine's Day.
Okay.
And what kind of love language do you prefer? 38% preferred quality time, just being together. That's
I'll go along
cool.
with that.
20% like the physical part, touching and kissing and stuff. 11% preferred words of affirmation. Just a simple "I love you" would work. 9% acts of service. In other words, doing the dishes, or helping, running an errand.
It's the way to a woman's
Yeah.
heart.
Only 7% preferred gifts. Well, I'm in the minority.
Okay. Well, my gosh, I'll have to cancel that purchase.
Yeah, I love lots of gifts.
Okay.
And believe it or not, 16% people were unsure
Okay.
what they want for
I'm usually in
Valentine's
that
Day.
bracket. What do I do? What do I do? What
And
do I
one
do?
of the most, I'd say, one of the favorite, probably overrated gifts for Valentine's Day is that assorted box of chocolates.
Okay, that's the traditional.
Yeah,
that's what you do if you don't want to think too hard, and you say, "Well,
I know.
we know this has worked with lots of folks."
Yeah, and as Forrest says, you never know what you're going to get. But this assorted box of chocolates
with the heart shape, right?
That's
Of
right,
course.
with
Okay.
the heart.
Okay.
These are the favorite fillings.
Okay.
The big one, caramel.
Okay.
34%.
Chewy, very chewy.
This has surprised me. Toffee came in second.
That's chewy.
That's right. Coconut, 12%.
Okay.
Nuts, 16%. Mint, 7%. Fruit, 9%. Don't know, 5%. And 3% of the people that took the survey don't like chocolate.
That many.
That's right, 3%.
That's hard to believe.
So it used to be that was a given, a box of chocolates, but you could hit that 3% and be in
Okay, well, I tell
big
you, John,
trouble.
you've given me and other men out there,
Yeah.
and women, they could buy Valentine gifts too. Maybe a lot of guidance there.
Yeah, and I was looking for cash in here somewhere, and it didn't show up as a Valentine
Yeah, I
gift.
wonder why that did. That's the gift where you can't go wrong.
That's right. That's
but
right.
they'll say, "Boy, that wasn't very imaginative or creative on your part." You'll get that though. That's the other problem on that part.
By the way, when you watched the Super Bowl game, did you don the colors?
I did not. I donned my blue Oxford shirt.
Oh, so you were somewhere in the middle, huh?
Yeah.
Between red and green.
You know, I root for the Bengals. I root for the Browns, the two Ohio teams. I'm not one of those ones where the Bengal fans that hate the Browns, or more so the Browns fans that hate the Bengals. I'm not a big fan of the Steelers. Okay,
Okay.
So I'm pretty traditional that way.
There's only one team that I always, 100%, always root against. The Baltimore Ravens.
The Baltimore Ravens.
See, that was supposed to be the Browns. Remember?
You got
in
the
the middle
long
of the
memory there.
night. In the middle of the night, Modell moved the team to Baltimore.
Right.
I mean, everybody came to work, and the building was empty.
Right, and Baltimore was on both ends of those, because you remember Baltimore had the Colts, and
That's right.
they flew to Indianapolis or galloped to Indianapolis, I
Right.
guess. So they had the good and the bad.
Okay. And speaking
Unfortunately, though, the Ravens are right now better than the Browns. That's
I know.
That's another kick in the
I know.
hiney.
If you're a Browns fan like me, it's always a horrible, terrible, not so good, crummy year.
Yeah. But hope springs eternal when summer rolls around and we start all over again.
I know. The only good thing about being a Cleveland Browns fan, it's always a super surprise when you find out who your quarterback's going to be. I mean, we've had more quarterbacks.
Kind of important
They were
position,
supposed
isn't
to
it?
change the ebbing of time,
Right.
and all of them have been, oh well, never mind. Speaking of Super Bowl, by the way, when you put on your Phillies jersey, or your Philadelphia jersey, or your Kansas City jersey, I want to let you know that just before the Super Bowl, they had what was called Operation Team Player, that was done by the FBI and all of those. They confiscated $39.5 million worth of fake Super Bowl merchandise.
Oh, my.
That include 214,000 counterfeit items, jerseys, hats, and more. And of course, the people were selling these, and people were buying them thinking it was the real stuff, and it wasn't the real stuff. So you want to be careful when you do that.
Okay. All right. Well, very good. Speaking of sports, I'm going to slide in a couple other local sports teams
Let's do it.
that won championships this past weekend. So we want to salute them. The Jackson High School girls wrestling team won the Frontier Athletic Conference championship. The boys were over there too. The boys didn't win the championship, but the girls did. These are, I believe, the first place winners that won in their weight divisions.
Right.
And of course, there were 5 girls that did that and 2 boys. The girl that is on the shoulders of the young man, that, by the way, that's Grant Kennedy, who won the heavyweight for Jackson. That is none other than the famous McKenna Kraft, who is defending state champion for wrestling in her weight category. She will be going, if she can stay injury-free and still wrestle the way she has in the past, she will be going for her 4th straight state championship when the tournament rolls around very soon. But these are the young people from Jackson who finished first, and the girls finished first as a team. Now, the Vinton County girls bowling team, for the 2nd year in a row, have won their conference championship. It's not the Tri-Valley Conference. There's not enough teams that bowl, but they are in what is called the Capital Conference in bowling. I'm not sure of the teams that are in there, but this picture was taken last Friday at Vinton County's home lanes, which is Leella Lanes in Wellston. These girls defeated Westfall in a head-to-head matchup, and that won them the undisputed Capital Conference title for the 2nd year in a row. And keep that picture up there, Jimmy. I've got some names here to throw at you. On the left, from left to right, that's head coach Amy Ward. Then you have senior Olivia Schroeder, senior Mackenzie Hammond, senior Jessica Wells, senior Kaylee Compson, junior Mallory Bledsoe, sophomore Miranda Camp, and the assistant coach Karen Natcher. The team finished with an overall record of 15-1, and they were 11-1 in the conference. And so congratulations to the Jackson High School girls wrestling team and the Vinton County High School girls bowling team.
Wonderful.
Champions. Right.
Very
now,
good.
they didn't get the attention that the Eagles did last night, but by golly, we're going to give it to them on Main Street TV.
You betcha. All right. Congratulations.
All right.
I appreciate all the news.
That is all right.
It
Hey,
is the
we
news.
appreciate you coming out on a cold, gray Monday.
It could have been
to
worse.
Be our host.
They could have scheduled me for tomorrow, and I'd have to come through the snow. So I caught a
Well,
break.
we hope not. We hope
Okay.
not.
All
You
right,
probably
that's
run
true.
into it on the way back home.
Okay. All right. Pete, thanks so much.
You are very welcome, John.
And I appreciate it. Thanks to Pete and all that are with us today on this Monday edition of Main Street TV. Tune in tomorrow. We'll have more. Thanks. Have a good one.
Have a good one, folks.